Alright, now we're on the Bayou, Kawasaki Bayou 220. From what I was told, this four-wheeler is set for about 10 years. So, I've tried to start it. It actually wasn't getting any fire, so checked the ignition system out and found a faulty spark plug, which is kind of rare for a spark plug to actually not fire at all, but that was what the problem was, so I replaced it. So then I could put brake clean or carburetor cleaner in the intake, and it would start and run off of that and then quit. So, which, anytime you have anything set for that long, it's no doubt that the carburetors will have to be taken off and cleaned. So I've already started disassembling it. Took the seat off, of course, took the airbox lid off. Now this one has been rolled or something. The plastic's pretty busted up on it, so a lot of it's wire tied together. But I did. There's probably enough room where you can get in there and take the carburetor off without doing all this, but I just tried to get a little bit more room in it, mainly just so I could film and show you all. But I took a bolt out here and here, and screw here and here on the gas tank cover. Lifted that off, and I took the center bolt out of the gas tank, lifted it up, and just stuck my cordless drill battery in there just to, hold it up a little bit. So next, I doubt you can see this, but no, you can't. But there's a rubber boot between the carburetor and the cylinder to the intake on the engine. So there should be that. There's a throttle cable, and most of your Hondas are the same way, but there's a slide valve in there. So all you do is just unscrew the top, and I always leave the side valve or slide valve with the throttle cable. And right before I put the carburetor back together, after I clean it or rebuild it, I will clean the slide valve up and then put it in the carburetor. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and get this carburetor off, and I will see if I can film the steps of me cleaning this one out. Hopefully I don't need a rebuild kit and everything's good. I'll just have to wire out the jets, and I'm sure it's pretty nasty inside with all the varnish and stuff that the gas has turned into over the 10 years. But alright, let me get this off here, and I will show you the next steps in the process. Alright, got the carburetor out. I went ahead and pulled the airbox out because there's not a whole lot holding it in. There's a bolt here and there, and some kind of electrical, probably a voltage regulator, looks like. So the voltage regulator was, yep, that's what it was. But yeah, it was also bolted to the airbox, so I went ahead and pulled that out and got the carburetor out. And let me go over here and show you what I was talking about the sleeve, if I can go around the other side. Most carburetors, like your Briggs and Stratton stuff, have a butterfly valve, which is just a flat piece of steel, and controls the airflow. But this has a slide, and most of your ATVs, top carburetors do. They have a slide valve inside of them. Whenever you press the throttle to give it more, throttle, it just slides up and uncovers the throat of the carburetor, allowing more air or fuel mixture into it. And there's also a needle that goes on the bottom. So like I say, I like to unscrew this and just leave it with the throttle cable. And what I'll do is after I clean the carburetor up, I will polish this down, clean it up real good, and clean the needle and stuff up real good before I put it back together. So you don't want to clean the carburetor and leave that dirty, because you'll have other small problems. So let's start taking the carburetor apart and cleaning it out. Alright, seeing as how I don't have a tripod, I will have to take this thing apart in sections and show you a little bit at a time. So I pulled the 4 bolts out of the float bowl, and this thing is pretty nasty, pretty gummed up. Now another thing too is if your ATV, motorcycle, whatever you're working on, if it ran good before you let it set, and now it's you know, say set 6 months, a year, you know, however long, and the carburetor's gummed up, but it did run good before, then a good thing to do is whenever you go to pull out your adjustment screws is to count the number of turns it takes to run them all the way in until they bottom out, and record that number and take them out. So that way you don't have to fool with you know, trying to adjust it and get everything back in sync. So, but yeah, this thing's pretty gummed up, so I can definitely see why it wasn't running. So let me go ahead and continue disassembling this, and I'll show you, you know, show you what the things are and what to clean, how to clean them, and all that stuff. Alright, I've got this fully disassembled now, and everything is definitely gummed up really bad. But just to, since I couldn't take it apart while we watched, I'll show you where some of the stuff goes. Now this little needle here, come on, focus. Alright, it'll go, this carburetor's upright of course, so it'll go in this slot, or this hole. It's actually adjustable, so I've counted the turns. Mine happened to be 2.5 turns before it bottomed out, so when I go back with it, that's what I'll start out with. Because like I say, I never seen this 4-wheeler run before, so I don't know if it was an adjustment or not. Now, kind of hard for me to show you with filming like this, but on this needle, if you pull this out and all this flies apart and you have no idea how it goes, the spring will go in the hole first. Then on your needle itself, you will put the washer on the needle and then slide the O-ring over the needle, and then with the spring in the hole you'll put it in. Whenever I go to assemble it, I'll show you what it looks like actually assembled. So like I say, that's, you know, this needle assembly, that's where it goes. There's an emulsion tube, and it is really stopped up, so I'm going to wire it out, and it goes in here, and you just run it down and snug it up, or, you know, of course no adjustment on it. Now on top of this, yeah, this will jet, and this will of course screw down on top of that. Then over here you have what looks to be another emulsion tube, and it has, since my camera don't want to focus at all, man, this thing ain't even trying to focus. A little bit. But anyways, this has several little holes here you want to wire out, and I will show you how I do that. But this goes down in here next to that one, and it'll you'll take a screwdriver and run it down until it snugs up. You don't want to get these really tight because these are brass and very easy to strip out. And even if you don't strip them out, it's easy to let the screwdriver slip on it, and that'll actually peel. Sometimes it'll chunk off some of the brass, little fine particles, and it'll go right back through and stop these up, and then you'll wonder why you just clean the carburetor out and, you know, you still have problems with it. And of course, over here is the float assembly. I've still got the needle valve hooked to it, but of course it'll set right down through here, and the needle will go in that hole, and this little pin will go through it. So not a whole lot there. And I had a adjustment screw here, and I'm trying to think what else I'll take off here. But yeah, and this is actually a plug for the bottom of the float bowl, and it'll go in here, and you'll want to run that all the way in, because what that is if you go to let this set for a long time, or if you just want to drain the bowl, you will loosen that screw up, and the fuel in the bowl will run out this little slot right here, and whenever you hook it back up, there'll be a hose hook here, so wherever you do drain it, it'll it won't dump it right on top of the starter or other components that you don't want gas to be soaked into. And this adjustment needle here, actually this controls your idle speed, and there's a slot cut on the sleeve valve that I showed you earlier, and I'll show it to you again. There's a slot in there, and the slot actually has a little ramp on it, so whenever you tighten the screw in, it'll actually push the ramp, which in turn pushes the whole sleeve up and will increase your idle. So the more you turn this in, the higher your idling gets, and vice versa, you back it out and the lower it gets. But it goes right through here, and if you look down through, well, don't have enough light to show you, but anyways, when you turn that screw in, it'll actually come through the side right here, and that's where it'll push the sleeve valve up. And it has the same style over here. It'll have a spring go into the carburetor first. Then on the needle valve, it's just like the other one. You have the washer that will go on first, right here, and then the O-ring that will go on to seal it from air leaks and all that good stuff. And how I like to clean stuff like the emulsion tube out, I really wish this would focus, because it's going to be hard for me to tell you how to clean it if I can't actually show it to you. But anyways, there are 3, 6, 9, so on this one there are 12 holes cross-drilled in this, and they're really easy to stop up. And then of course, you got the straight shot right through here, and then on the end, as I was showing you earlier, you've got this jet on the bottom that goes in. And a lot of people, they'll have different ways of cleaning these holes out, but what I like to use, and I don't know really how you can get them, I have got thousands, so I'm pretty fortunate, but this little wire right here, I think the last place I used to work at, they used to hold ID tags on with these, but these things are just the perfect size to wire out each one of these holes, and they work down to really small jets, even on the string trimmers and chainsaws. But you will wire down each hole and kind of pull it, work the wire in and out. And after you've wired it out really good, what I like to do is take, I use brake clean, you can use carburetor cleaner, they're both about the same. Basically, they do a really good job of cleaning. But I will take the straw itself, put it in the can, and I'll put the straw straight up to, I will butt it up against this hole right here, and with my finger, I'll block this off, and I will squirt that, and it'll actually shoot the cleaner out of each one of these holes. And that two things it does is that it will clean the holes out on the emulsion tubes. But also, if you watch it, you can watch the spray pattern on each one, and if you still have one stopped up, you can tell, or if it's partially stopped up, it won't come out near as good. And if they're free and clear, then it'll shoot out really well. you have to watch and not get that stuff in your eyes, because I don't know what pepper spray feels like, but I am sure this is right up there with it. It's horrible if you get it in your eyes, so be careful. And same way with this, after I run the wires down through, the smaller holes and orifices, I will take, the straw there too, and I will run it down each one of the ports, blow it out really well. But this one is in such bad shape, since I've already got it disassembled. I've got a bucket of B12 chemical dip, and so I'm going to take all these parts and put them in a basket and soak them in this chemical dip for about 1 to 2 hours, and take them out. And that kind of cleaner is really good, but you don't want to put plastic or anything, like the floats, rubber, anything like that. You want to make sure that this is completely stripped down to metal whenever you put your parts in there, so because it will, there's a possibility it will dissolve the floats and stuff. And I probably won't put my float bowl gasket or a float bowl in there, because I can clean it out pretty good without that. There's not a whole lot in here to have to worry about cleaning. Of course I want to wire that tube out and clean it out and everything, but the reason I'm not going to is because I really don't need, other than this one gasket, I really don't need a rebuild kit for this, because everything is cleanable so far. And if I put this whole thing in there, then the B12 chemical dip will dissolve this gasket, and then I'll have to end up trying to track down a new gasket. So I don't feel like driving all over town just to try to find that. And of course, it's really hard to seal gasoline. Anything silicone based will just dissolve as soon as the gasoline hits it. So Permatex, silicone, all that stuff you can't use. I do have some kind of a gray sealer that I use whenever I rebuild, two-stroke engines, like say chainsaws, dirt bikes, whatever. And where the cases meet whenever I split the case on one, I will use that that gray sealer to seal the cases back up. I think they say it's gasoline resistant, so it of course can't be submerged in gas and still work. But I guess what I'm trying to say though is, you don't, if you're going to try to seal one of these up, you're pretty much wasting your time, because it's going to leak. But the only thing you can do is go back with the gasket, because myself, I don't know of any sealer that can put up with that amount of gas going up against it and not be dissolved. So alright, I'm going to clean all this up, and then I'll try to show you me putting this back together a little bit at a time. So stay tuned. Alright, so we're back with the carburetor. I've lit the body of the carburetor and all the other parts that were just all metallic, soaked in B12 chemical dip. I went ahead and wired out all the jets and all the holes and orifices in the carburetor body, float bowl, emulsion tube, and all that. And so everything's cleaned up and ready to go back together. So I'll just, I've got a tripod now, so I want to assemble everything for you on camera. And so that way, if you've taken one apart and kind of wondered where something may go, then, well, hopefully this will help you out. I have not tried to match this O-ring up yet, but this is the emulsion tube that's going to be down in the middle of this. So I've got an O-ring. I hope it works for it. It's not the O-ring that's supposed to go on it, but hopefully it's close enough to work. Looks like it will. So go ahead and put the emulsion tube in here. And before I get started, let me put a little bit of grease on this O-ring so it don't pinch or kink as it's going in. don't have to worry about getting too much grease on here because of course the gas going through it will dissolve it. So like I say, just put that in there like that. And O-ring worked really well. So snug that down, but like I say, don't get carried away on these because they are just brass and they will strip out very easily. So on top of the emulsion tube, then you've got your other jet. So that will screw down on top of that. And just snug it down. Then you got your other small, which will be an emulsion tube on the end. It'll go right next to this. It will drop down. And it will tighten up until it bottoms out. Then clean this off a little bit better. Then right here, you've got this little needle. Now this one is adjustable. Whenever I took it out, I ran it in to see how many turns it would be. Run it in until it bottoms out and then back it out. So that'll give you a good starting point. Should give me a good starting point because, like I say, I've never seen this one run, so I'm not really sure. And almost forgot. I almost forgot to put my spring and O-ring and stuff in there. We'll just say I done that for demonstration purposes, just to let y'all know not to forget. You're right. Alright. So like I say, the spring will go down in there. I have a little tiny washer. It will go on. It will go on first. Then you have an O-ring. It's best to replace this O-ring, but this one's in decent shape, and I don't feel like going out to the dealership just to get a couple O-rings. So it should be alright. If I have air leaks with it, I will go back and change it. And like I say, put a little coating of grease on it to help the seal of the O-ring. Go ahead and put that in there. And whenever I counted, I had ran it in, bottomed it out, and then turned it back, or backed it off 3.5 turns to get it to where it was. So looks like somebody's been in this before because screw head's about rounded off. So that's bottomed out, so we'll do 1, 2, 3 and a half, so about right there. I think it was a starting point because once this is back on the four-wheeler, this is going to be a really fun screw to get to. It's going to be not too easy to access. So now we got our float assembly. Float, and we've got our needle valve. So there's a little tab right here. I'm just going to slide this needle right onto the tab and drop this right on here now. And we've got our pin. Our pin will go through right here. They usually slip in pretty easy, but for some reason this one, oh, there it goes. persuasion. Not much. There we go. Alright. Now our float bowl, I've already cleaned it out. So I'll go ahead before I put the float bowl on. And this little screw we taken out. This is the drain plug for the float bowl, which I was talking about earlier. So put that on there and run it down until it bottoms out. There's no O-ring or anything on there, it's just a taper fit. Taper seal, I should say. Snug it down. So now, just put the float bowl back on. And if it don't want to go, don't try to force it, just be gentle, because there's a brass tube in there that would be fairly easy to bend. So now just put your screws back in. Tighten them down. Kind of stagger them. Now on the side we've got our idle mixture screw, and same thing goes for it. Now, drop the screw, or drop the spring in. Then got our little washer. It'll go on first. Then our O-ring. Put a little assembly lube / grease on it. I think I counted this one at 4 turns. But run it in till it bottoms out and then back it off 4 turns, where this one's at. But this screw's a lot easier to get to, so it's no biggie to adjust it. Alright, so that's basically got it. I will take the camera over to the four-wheeler. There's a tube that goes out here that acts as a choke, and how that one works. Everybody's probably familiar with the choke flaps that go in the front of the carburetor, or in the front of the Ventura, so whenever the flap is closed, it'll enrich in the fuel mixture by decreasing the airflow and increasing the fuel. So, but the way this one works is it has a port drilled through here, probably can't see it, but through here and through here, so they join. So this one actually connects to the one I showed you back here, and there's a slide valve similar to this but a lot smaller that goes in here, and that is your choke. And the way it works is whenever the main slide for your throttle is all the way down, and the slide in here for your choke is all the way down, then it's fully choked. But whenever you raise it up, then it allows air to go from this port back to this one and bypass the slide valve, which is your throttle valve in the middle. So pretty small choke, but it works. So let's go over to the four-wheeler, clean up the 2 slide valves, and I may have to clean up the fuel shutoff valve, because I'm not getting very good fuel flow out of that. And we'll see if we can put this back on and breathe a little life into this thing once again. Alright, so here's the throttle valve for the or slide valve for the throttle. I'm not really going to be able to get enough shot to show me putting the reinstalling the carburetor or anything. So, but what I am going to do is bring the carburetor over here and show you how this valve slides down into it, so you'll know which direction to put it in, because it'll only go one way. And I'll show you how to clean, or what parts of the valve to clean up. So. Alright, so if you notice, there's one line in this valve that is just a straight cut in it from top to bottom. And on the other side, there's a notch at the bottom, but right here it has a little bit of a slope to it. Well, this screw is your idle screw, and it sticks through the throat of the carburetor, right through there. I don't know if you can see it or not. And it actually pushes against that slide, so the more you turn the screw in, the farther it will push this up and allow more air to go through, which in turn increases your RPM, which you're idling. So what you want to do is when we put this in here, I'm not going to do it yet because I've not cleaned this up, but you want to line it up to where this slot is going to line up with the screw. And there's also a small pin on the opposite side that will go into this groove, and it'll just keep it aligned so it stays the right way. And I don't know if I can show you I have to take the camera to the top to show you the choke sleeve that goes in here. Let's see. And yeah, so there it is. That was the little choke sleeve that I was talking about. There's no particular way this one goes. It's real simple. You just put it in there, and then this little plastic piece right here screws in and holds it in. So let me put this carburetor back on. May have to the fuel shutoff valve, I will probably, or may have to take it off. If I take it off, I will show you how to clean it. And because like I say, I had a little bit of fuel or gas left in it, and it was still very slow coming out, so I suspect that this has probably got some trash in it. Some of these have got a screen in them that you can take out and clean. I don't know if this one does or not, but we'll find out.